Hi, everyone. I am back and finally at a place in myself that I can connect with Mariah and Peter O'Neill and allow them to continue speaking with us, teaching us, guiding us, and assisting us. And for my own personal issues, not to be standing in the way or interfering in any way. So we begin today on a different energy than what I have been lately due to things previously spoken about in other videos. And at a place in myself that I'm ready to continue fulfilling my commitment with Mariah and Peter O'Neill and to be the vessel, the voice that they are able to communicate through and to help us. And believe me, I appreciate their help and do apply it to my own life and to heal myself in many ways, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and allow myself to choose to become the best version of myself possible. And if you follow with their teachings and you apply their words to your own life and see, does it benefit you or not? And if it benefits you, to allow yourself to reunite yourself with the original version of yourself that chose to be here before life wrote our experiences upon us, and perhaps for many changed who we came here to be until we remembered we are not the roles we have played. So I have requested that today, in their beginning speaking with us again, that they do speak a little bit about grief. And so I'm not going to continue speaking myself here. I'm going to step aside and allow them to communicate in a as uninterfered way as possible and to say how much I appreciate their patience, their love, and their support of me as I had to handle and take care of some of my very own human issues. So we'll see where all of this goes, and hopefully I find out I really am in a place where no matter what I personally will experience in my life, I will no longer seek to stop them from assisting us. So, with that said, I'll step aside, raise my frequency to connect with their frequency being downloaded, and I'll see you on the other end of this talk. God's blessings. This is Peter O'Neill from the higher realms of God, and we are very pleased to be able to speak with you in this manner yet again. We understand that there are many things occurring in your world right now that is able to raise up fears. It is able to raise confusion. It is able to raise stress and worry, wondering about the uncertainty of what life appears to be in your world right now. And so we do desire very much that the words we bring through in this communication and in subsequent ones yet to be spoken and created here, that we are able to assist you to be able to maintain a sense of calm and peace within yourself, disengaged from the hook of fear, and aligning yourself with your most sacred self, your soul, your spirit, and your connection and relationship, however it appears for you, with your divine presence, your God, your creator, no matter what terminology you use to identify this being, a place of great source of energy of absolute and unconditional love, who has never truly ever given up on humanity and is always there to be a loving support, to assist yourselves to remember. When you chose to step away from all the love that is, and to experience the different roles you do play in your human journey throughout the flow of time, that you are able to be assisted to remember you are not the roles of separation. You are not identified by those roles you played, and it is doing what it was designed to do to allow you to have the knowledge. What is it like if I experience, and then you create the roles that you experience? Some lifetimes more pleasant than others, others greatly more challenging. And everyone physical in this moment of time have all chosen to be here during this time to see are the events of the world of mass and matter, the manipulation, deceits, lies, corruption, the separation from love, the desires and fears manifested. And are you able to transform that into compassion, into empathy one for another, and for remembering the essence, the divine consciousness of God? God is all there is. Never, ever stepped away from yourselves. It was in your journey as human to separate your own selves from that, to forget, in order to eventually remember you truly are here to experience love, acceptance, no judgment, and support of one another, and to see all of humanity as the human race family. So, as we are aware, and you are aware, the vessel, she has requested of us to begin our reconnection in this manner with yourselves to speak of grief. And very often, when humans reflect upon the word grief, you naturally do associate it with death, death of a loved one, death of a person that you do not know how you would continue without them. And in some ways, that is a very true statement. However, there are many avenues of grief, and every one of them are up front for humanity right now. And perhaps some of what we speak this day will assist you who are experiencing levels of grief, are able to find some solace and some comfort, and perhaps indeed even some hope in our discussion. The energy that is known in this way for identification as Peter O'Neill is, of course, based on a story, a life we once experienced with our soul. And Mariah, as a being of the infinite realms only, has never stepped away from all remembrance and absolute love, and so therefore has not the knowledge of what is it like to be the human being who experiences grief in all of its many faces and all of its many levels and degrees. And so we are able to connect into the remembrance of the roles we have played in the human journey, and our deepest experience of knowing what is it like as a human to experience the death, the loss of loved ones, was the role we played as Peter O'Neill in that lifetime, as some of you already know. We left Ireland in 1854 in order to, one, escape the rope of a hangman for our participation in revolting against another country who sought to overtake Ireland, and the many battles being fought for the sovereignty of Ireland. We also left with our spouse, our wife, and 7 children. We packed very little to journey, and yet took that which had the greatest meaning, especially to our wife, of what would always connect her to the land of our birth and the memories of the ancestors that came before us. And so the beautiful linens, the beautiful handmade mm, lace and such that were made by family members were among the few items packed. Our Bible, because it was very precious to us, and it contained the full heritage of all of our ancestors. So, of course, that journeyed with us. But our greatest treasure that we brought with us were our 7 children. And the lifetime role as Peter O'Neill. We boarded the ship and we made the long, arduous journey across the waters to journey towards the United States of America. Along the way, many illnesses occurred, many storms. And by the time we reached the shores of the United States of America, we had already had to place 6 of our children into the embrace of the ocean. And so we arrived with 1 child remaining. My wife and myself and our 1 child placed our feet upon Ellis Island. And for quite a while, there was picture reference of ourselves that once was adorning the walls of the building in Ellis Island, ourselves seen as a very short and very round Irishman, red of hair, dressed very simply, and we were going to continue to pursue our craft. We were a cobbler in that lifetime, focusing on the covering of feet for protection of all who sought to have shoes upon their feet. What we had not planned on was the loss of 6 of our 7 children and the effect that it would have upon ourselves as well as our spouse. Our spouse put all of her focus, all of her energy into remaining child that was with us, a little girl, who in this present time frame became the daughter of the vessel, which is where our connection to her was connected and made. We never have, in the knowledge of the flow of time and each human individual seen as a separate consciousness and presence, created a lifetime with the vessel, unlike her initial spirit guide grandfather, had many lifetimes with her. All 7 of his incarnations was with the vessel. And of course, that is a short amount of lifetimes to choose to create before aligning and staying forever through all eternity into the infinite realms. We ourselves saw nothing to connect with any longer. Our wife at the time did not give up on us, continued to love us even as we crawled deeply into the bottles of alcohol. And so that lifetime was experienced as being in the addiction of alcoholism. But because of that lifetime, we have used our knowledge and own experience of what is it like to lose a child to assist and to speak to many human beings in this time frame who have had to know that experience. And of all the levels of loss, we would say unequivocally the most difficult level of grief to work with is for a parent to lose the life of their child. And it is very sad in humanity's journey right now that there are far, far too many human beings knowing what is it like to have their child there before them breathing one moment and then through the hail of bullets and bombs no longer exist. Far too many know what it's like to watch your child go through experiences of health and imbalances that ultimately steal away the breath of your own child. And so we know what that journey is like, and so our words have always sought to assist parents in grieving, to understand that they know not how it is able to occur. They do reach a point where they are once again consciously choosing to recreate a life for themselves, knowing one area of grief that they go through is they do not ever return to who they knew themselves to be before the loss of their child, for that part of yourselves die with the death of your children. And we know that this shadow showing is going to drive the vessel to distraction. So we are going to say to her, do not focus on it when she does listen to our words later. Instead, focus on the journey of a parent who has the loss of children. As many of you already know, the vessel has experienced the death of two of her children that reached adulthood, and one remaining child yet breathes. She also experienced the loss of three babies that never lived to draw a breath. And so for her, she grieves five children. The ones that never drew a breath were already creating in her reality, as many women who have experienced the same thing know far too well. And so you grieve the loss of your own selves and begin the journey of who are you now? For you are not who you once were, and you are different. You carry in you a wound that it seems can never get past. That no matter what you do, that wound is always there affecting you. You have many choices in that moment and in all the moments yet to come. You are able to do as we ourselves did in the journey as Peter O'Neill and crawl into an addiction, whether it is addiction of food, alcohol, drugs, nicotine, caffeine, no matter what it is, you are able to withdraw and to cover yourself with addiction. You are also able to carry great bitterness within you. And for quite a while, we would say that is perfectly normal for the parents to go through. Anger, that you once held in your arms the greatest gift you can ever dream of receiving, and then to have that gift removed from your life. For women, to be a mother, to feel the child stir within your bodies, your dreams about your child and where life is going to take your child and yourselves already have begun to be woven. Once the child has breathed the first breath and you are looking upon the face of your child, you are able to see pure love reflected back to you through the eyes of your child so new from the essence of absolute love. If you could but understand the words that they impart as they coo and they make the beautiful baby sounds, and that you could hear all the mysteries of the universe explained, they could fill you with so many beautiful, wonderful stories of the realm that they just left, that they know you have forgotten exactly what that is like. And so you are able to focus on the joys and the gifts of your child's life, whether it was a day or many, many years, far into adulthood. It does not matter what age they reach. If you are still walking the earth and they are not, you experience the loss of your child and all the future memories not able to be created now. All the many experiences and moments no longer able to be created and experienced. And that is also another level of the grief. And often from that level, you will have the experiences of anger and rage. Hopelessness and despair will fill you. Hopefully, you have living angels in your life who will assist you to see where you are is where you are, and you are accepted and supported in that, and not told, don't you think it's time to move on? Because we are able to tell you from our own human experiences, you never move on. That pain will be felt within you for eons and eons yet to come. Even though ourselves, we are far removed from being a human life in our flow of time experiences. When we first began to share with those we spoke with of our journey across the oceans and what was it like to place 6 of our little ones into the embrace of the ocean, we shed tears, even though we are well aware who we are as a soul and a spirit, reunited with the absolute love of all that there is, of God. God is all there is, and however you see that energy that exists, that creates and is part of everything and everyone, we still felt the pain of it, as though it was physically once again being experienced. We always say to human beings, the loss of a child, whether they draw a breath or not, is the greatest pain that human beings will ever experience. But hear these words, please. If you do not cover yourself with addiction as we ourselves did, to seek not to feel the pain, which we can tell you the addictions that we succumbed to, the alcoholism in that time frame, did not diminish any of the grief or the knowledge of our loss. It only added to it as it brought self-recriminations, shame, and judgment of our own selves, knowing the disappointment that our wife at that time had to experience because we were not present. She did very well to give our remaining daughter a very beautiful life. You were able to forgive your soul for ever having chosen that as an experience you are having in a physical moment of time. And why would you do that to yourselves in order to see the greatest pain ever to be experienced? Does it have the ability to stop you from choosing to create a life based on the love that you carry within you still for your children, rather than to focus on the moment their breath ceased to exist? And it takes time, gentleness with self and no judgment, to get to the point where you are truthfully able to feel an absolute, real moment of laughter bubble up inside of you, where you are able to look forward as a human being, forward into upcoming moments and experiences of your life. And it feels at the time that you have never been so aware of how many other humans are going through the same journey of sorrow as you yourself are, until you are in the hold of it. And then it seems like so many others are there also. And for the most part, one area we hear human beings who are grieving a child hear from others is, your child was so loved that God wanted to bring your child home. It is the choices of the souls involved to have that experience. The love that exists for all is what assists you to keep breathing and your heart to keep beating when you do not understand how is it possible it does that. You are still here. And though it feels in many ways that your life ended also, it did not. Your pain is proof of that. Your continued presence in the physical earth world proves that. Obligations, perhaps to other children or family members, our commitment with the jobs that you were creating, they are all absolute proof that your child once was here and now is not, and yet you still are. So even though you are experiencing the pain beyond your belief it could possibly feel, you are still here. How were you created? Some whose children died as a result of drugs, drunk driving, and such, choose to create organizations to assist others that are experiencing the same things as you experienced with your child. And so you turn part of your pain into a healing and an assistance for others, which ultimately ends up also assisting yourself to see through the undescribable pain that you experience as the human. You chose to create something that is based and honor the love that you carry still for your child. Their love does not stop. They are around you whenever it is important and necessary, or just a longing within yourself for them to be with you. And you will indeed create once again with one another on the other side, as well as once again in the human journey, as you so choose it to be. And as we spoke, others will say to you also, it's not right. Children aren't supposed to die before the parent. And yet, from the beginning of the human experiences, that indeed has occurred. So, when you are able to reach the point where you are able to focus on all the breaths and moments of creating with your child from their first breath to their last breath, you are able to carry with you the memory of all of those moments and to see that the two breaths that seem to captivate your attention more than any others is their first breath and your first gaze upon your child's face and their last breath. And you overlook all that occurred before. And believe us, we do understand. It is much easier to say than to walk through it. Allow yourself to be honest with yourself, to be gentle with yourself, and to give yourself the understanding of compassion. And some days you are able to create with others, even if you are having a very difficult grieving day. And other days you are not able to. And it is very honoring of your own healing to be able to say, not today. Today you take care of yourself. Today you ask yourself, what can I do for myself right now? That brings some healing and compassion and understanding to where I am right now. And there are many more words we can use to speak about the loss of children and the grief that is carried, and where do you go from there? So if you are interested in hearing much more about how do you continue to breathe and live and to be able to once again experience happiness and joy and excitement instead of only the wounds of the loss, you're able to place in the comments on this video that you are interested in a fuller lesson and communication on that, and we will be most happy to speak with yourselves at greater depth. And if you have questions about what occurs to your child when they reach the other side, you are also able to place those questions in the comments, and we will do our best to assist you to find a place of understanding and compassion for where you are now and where your children now are. Your children return to beings of pure love, and yet a lot of humans have difficulty imagining that because their own pain is so great. The vessel once said to us that she read in a writing someone communicated on your Facebook at one time, that grief and the loss of a loved one, not only a child, also anyone that you love that leaves this world before you, that it is seen by the human journey as a very sorrowful experience. And yet, as they return to spirit, it is with excitement and celebration that their role is complete and they are once again back where they are created to be, absolute love and the most radiant light imaginable. They are still able to create an experience in many levels and many realms, and they are able to remain around you no matter how long it has been since their last breath. And we would say to you to please know in the depth of your being, there is no timetable for grief, for the sorrow is the loss of a loved one, especially a child. And that you, as a human being, you do not have the power to keep them earthbound, as many will communicate to you in your world and will say to you, it is time for you to move on and let go of this, because you are holding your child, your mother, your sister, your brother, your loved one, your husband, your wife, your dearest and most beloved friend. You are holding them back from moving forward and returning fully home to the essence and the knowledge and remembrance of God. God is all there is, and returning to the absolute remembrance that you are beings of infinite love and radiant light. You do not have the power to do that. They will continue to be present for you whenever you call them to be there. Some will be around you for the rest of your life, and that is their choice. And it does not stop them from processing their life, having their review, healing whatever wounds and shadows they created with in that script they just left. And so do not carry an unnecessary guilt or a shaming to yourself that you have to let go of that loved one. Because if you do not, how selfish are you that you would hold them earthbound? You do not have the power to do that. So we would advise you, do not pick up that guilt. It is untrue and it is unnecessary pain to add to your pains already. As we said, many in your world are knowing grief for the loss of a loved one, their child, their spouse, their parents, their neighbor, even an enemy soldier that took the life of one they loved. Many know that loss because of illnesses, accidents, and so forth. Many know that loss through the hands of their own child who chose no longer to be present, through the loss of a spouse or a loved one who chose that they chose to no longer be part of the earth community and to release themselves from the pain they viewed in a moment as insurmountable. Know that those who seek to end their own lives, they do not go to a place of punishment. if their wounds were so great that they carry them with them into the scene afterlife, they are lovingly placed into a place of a deep sleep, is the only way to describe it to a human being, until they are able to begin to receive the healing and the assistance to understand that that role, that moment being experienced was not to be carried forever. And they are gradually reawakened and met with beings of pure love who assist them to look at what was the experiences of life that brought them to that decision. And sometimes they are placed into sleep once again, if it is more than they are able to face still. And while they are in a place of the deep sleep, there are beings of absolute love who surround them and fill them with love, because that is all they have to give is love. And so gradually through your flow of time, they let go of that role and they create the self-forgiveness, the understanding that brought them to that point. And then they are able to let go of that part of their role and to continue reviewing their life. Did they create and respond or react from fear? And they are all the shadow aspects of you, all the limiting, negative seen parts of the human journey. Or did they create from love, no judgment of self and another, acceptance of each is exactly where they are to be, for each one's journey to the point of remembrance of who you come from, where you come from, and who you truly are is part of your full experience. As you make that journey, each one looks a little different, and yet ultimately you all end up in the same place, a place, a state of being of full remembrance, no separation from all the love that you are part of. The journey on the other side, as the remembrance is occurring, is not painful in the way it is painful for you as a human being. It would be difficult to experience that unless they absolutely demanded to stay in the hold of that pain. And then they are part of the fourth dimension of the astral world, where they continue to grow and experience, and they are at any moment able to be open to receive the full remembrance of who they are and let go of the role that is illusionary. And as we say those words, we understand the human being reacts strongly to being told your journey on earth is an illusionary journey. And yet, no matter how true it is as the human being, it diminishes your full experience, because how can you berate yourself for creating a life that is an illusion, and yet you feel it, you know it, you are walking it, you are living it, you are feeling the results and the effect of whatever life you are experiencing as very real, and that is how it was designed to be. For us, we speak many times through the years of our teachings. Why would you choose to be the actor upon the stage that you co-created and co-wrote and designed with others, joining you on that journey, if you were not to experience it as real? Without experiencing it real, there would truly be no purpose, right? To put yourselves through it. The actor who not only is able to be so immersed in their role that they forget who they were outside of it, and all that they co-create with also doing the same thing, until ultimately you remember you are not here to suffer and to be in pain. You are not here to be separated from the source of your creation. You are not here to experiencing anything except the remembrance of love and no judgment of your journey or the journey of another, honoring with dignity and respect. Each human being has a part to play in the grand play of all. Moving away from the teachings and experiences of fear, separation, isolation, rejection, and hate. Self-hate, hate for others, self-loathing, loathing of others, in order to see and accept each person's role and your choice in it. Is this who you know yourself as or not? Not to judge the ones who are experiencing a role that you at one time perhaps yourself once created and believed also. And it led you to where you are in this present moment of your life. Your world depicts the angel of death as a being cloaked with darkness, carrying the reaper, the scythe, we believe you call it, right? That gathers the souls rather than the angel of death, as that being truly is, a very radiant, compassionate, loving being who comes to walk you from one life to another. And as we were speaking of the ending of a life and the grief that you feel, the celebration as the actor returns, there is also rejoicing, right, when a soul leaves spirit and is birthed into your world. The excitement of a new life, the excitement of a child born into a family, and all of the dreams and wonders and beliefs of what that life is able to become. Some born into families that will strengthen fear, abuse, and dishonor and such, as well as some born into families that support and enhance the gift that their child comes to create and to grow into as they walk the path they have chosen to experience. And when a soul leaves spirit to enter into the physical realm, there is the acknowledgement that they are on a journey that is able to keep them from full remembrance of who they truly are for many, many, many years of the human journey. And yet in spirit, there is not time. So there is the celebration when a soul returns to spirit and is then reflecting, reviewing, taking off the costume of the life they just created, and the celebration of all that gather with them for the way they played the role they went to experience so beautifully and perfectly. So that is the main way that humans view grief. Loss of a beloved pet, an animal that you make connection with in the wild. Or perhaps you're not having a fluffy, furry puppy or kitten to sit on your lap. Instead, it is a calf, it is a colt, it is the little lambs, it is the little chickens, it is the baby birds as they poke their heads up from their nest to receive the nutrition the parents bring to it. Perhaps it is for the spiders of your world. They also desire to know what is it like to be loved and not feared and not crushed every time someone sees them. Remember, everything in your world is a soul that is experiencing itself as that. The vessel, the few nights ago, she chose to end the life of a palmetto bug that dared to enter her house, and the feline was chasing it from where it entered under her door, and it came into the living room where she was sitting, and she saw it. And as she went to crush it, she spoke to it first and said, "It is your lucky day. You get to go home to the love of God," knowing full well the soul connected to that insect. She was choosing to end its life. And she said, as she returned home, your role in this is finished. And I help you get there because I am the one who stomps upon you. And this is not to say, is it right, is it wrong to end the life of a living creature, no matter how much you choose to be repulsed by them or attracted to them. They have a role they are playing, and so do you. Perhaps that insect in the moment did not see it as its lucky day, right? So to be able to see that level of grief that you feel for your child or your parent or sibling, a beloved friend or spouse, there are some who experience that very, very deep level of love with the animal that they choose to join in their family. And for some, their canine, either feline or bird, fish, no matter what it is able to be the one that they pour all of their love into and is a soul that is with them through their most difficult moments of life as well as their most exciting moments of life that love the human unconditionally. And so the human has had in their life one who never left their side voluntarily, one who loved them unconditionally and was always there to be with them as a presence of love and comfort. And so there are many who do indeed experience the same level of grief for their pet, the animal that they chose to be part of their family, the same level that a human will experience with the loss of a child. And we know as we say these words, the many humans who may hear those words will be repelled by them because it is not the same in the eyes of a parent who has the loss of a child. And yet over time, you realize the loss of a presence of someone or something in your life that gave you the opportunity to know love, to give love, as well as to receive it unconditionally. The loss is loss. For some, the loss of a canine or feline will never compare to the loss of a child. But for many, it is the same. And so you no longer judge one who grieves in that way and understand for them that is their child, whether they have human children or not. For them, it is some being who loved them unconditionally and perhaps the only place they experienced love. The angel of death, with all the beauty that is there, comes in many guises to humans as you make your walk away from your physical form. And they all are beings of great love to escort you from one reality to another. There is grief of dreams that you dreamed one day you would be, no matter what that is. One day you would be a famous author, famous painter, singer, performer, the greatest mechanic that ever lived, one who found a cure for incurable sin illness. Your dreams of who you become are very important parts of you. And if life does not assist you to create and to know that, you make other choices, and yet that dream that did not manifest lies within you, and you experience it as grief. And so you work with that energy and to see what does that part of you ask of you to assist yourself no longer to feel it as a loss, instead to see it as an opportunity to choose something perhaps you had no idea was to be part of your journey, positive or negative. and yet you are able to grieve the loss of those possibilities and those dreams. Perhaps you gave your love to another and believed that for the rest of your life you would be together, united against the whole world and side by side with each other, able to face everything and anything life may toss upon you with grace and ease and positive outlook. And yet, after the reasons you came together were complete, and you perhaps came together for a short time in order to share knowledge with one another, to reflect similar shadows back and forth, different scripts that keep you in the state of forgetfulness. Once that has been accomplished, it would take an act of will to consciously choose to stay together, whether it is a marriage, a casual relationship, a deep friendship, no matter what it is. Once the reason you came together is complete, it is no longer necessary to continue forward unless the two of you are able to agree that you know the reasons you came together has now shifted, and your next teacher is able to bring you another moment of growth, another moment of remembrance, another moment to move away the layers that prevent you from remembering you are absolute love. You are infinite beings experiencing the temporary human experience and script and stories. So you are able to choose that even though you are aware that that no longer is part of your journey together, you are able to choose the relationship, the kindness, the respect. Your best friend perhaps is there now. And the romance connection perhaps is not there. The intimate relationship perhaps is no longer there. And yet you are both content and very much at peace in being together. And so you may choose to do that. Or you find that once a lesson is complete, what you came together to know and experience and reflect to one another is complete. That relationship ends. And someone that was once a vital part of your life is no longer physically by your side, yet still live and breathe in the physical realm. And you will from time to time grieve and wonder, how could something and someone that was so important in your journey all of a sudden be like, did I dream that whole experience of us or not? And how did it and how could it end so abruptly and so completely? And will I ever see that person again? And for many, you may go the rest of your life and never find your paths ever cross again, while others, you will come together, create for a while, separate again, go and live what you have learned, come back together, reflect again, and you separate and come back and separate again. And so still complete many experiences together in an altered relationship than what it began. Your hopes, your dreams, and indeed your expectations of what a loving relationship with one another looks like, whether as a spouse, whether as a life partner, or a very beloved friend, or indeed even a family member. Once that occurs and you no longer are connecting, you will find moments when you grieve that part. Where did it go? Why did it go? And how do you feel within yourself? Do you look back at that time with regret, with remorse, with confusion? Or do you look back at that moment with the awareness? What brought you together in the first place? What began to separate your paths? And what did you learn about yourself through that relationship that you did not know until you were in that relationship And if the relationship ended, what you learned after that relationship ended. And did you, in your pain and your angers, did you choose a path of bitterness, blame, no responsibility for your part of what occurred, and only blame for their part? Not taking responsibility for you received the knowledge and now it is up to you. How do you apply that to your own life? How do you bring that into your reality? And do you choose to bring it into your reality through negative, painful experiences directed at self or at others? Or do you bring it into your awareness with a knowing? What did you learn about yourself that you were able to remove another obstacle script that you once created upon and made so real that you carried it into life after life after life until you reached the point you are now at in it and are able to say, well, if this is no longer who I see myself as and know myself as, where do I go from here? And the world is your stage. What role do you choose to fulfill from that point on? How much love do you allow to be remembered? How much do you allow yourself to remember you were never, ever abandoned by your Creator, the source of all love? You were never held in judgment by the presence of that love. And to be able to see, are you able through your experiences to learn and to remember to love the very human parts of you and to not judge the roles you as the human played along the way, to begin to see you are able to absolutely love all human beings, whether or not the path they are creating on is a path you yourself would choose. For many right now in your world are wondering, how did humanity find itself in the brink of great fighting and destruction one of another? And your world is once again being affected by the drums of war. What has war ever accomplished? A lot of pain, a lot of separation, a lot of judgment, one against another. Another soul is seen as your enemy rather than a family member who desires the same things you desire, to be seen fully, to be loved unconditionally, and for what you perceive and know as the flaws or the darkness within your own self is able to be seen and does not deprive you of receiving love from yourself and others, to be supported in your journeys and the realization that you are all here to excel at the roles you are creating. Perhaps you had great expectations of the life you would live, and yet moment after moment you seem that no matter how much you open to knowledge, how much you open to new ideas, how much you open to receive and to know love, to be successful, if you have chosen a way to manifest financial abundance for yourself, to create a job for yourself, to develop your gifts of art in all of its many faces, to be the most loving mother, to be the most loving father, to be the most trusted friend, and so forth. And no matter how much you chase that, you are always stopped. And that is a great shadow to work with. no matter how dark life appears to become, how much fear will sometimes grab hold of you and shake you rapidly in its grip. Remember, there is always beauty to look upon. And in some areas of your world right now that see the destruction of their lands, their homes, their people, finding beauty seems to be impossible. And yet, in the face of so much destruction and pain and sorrow, you are able to see beauty. Might be a blade of grass that pushes through the rubble of destruction. It might be observing another human assisting another to stand and to see that physically they are intact and together they will mourn what they just lost. Perhaps their eyes gaze upon the land and the essence all around them, and they see no one but themselves in destruction in the moment. Raise your eyes to the sky. If it is a blue sky, beautiful clouds, that is a moment of beauty. Wrap it around you, and you're able to see even more fully the contrast between what hate chose and also the hope of all is not lost. And we know that those words do not give full justice to what humans experience in moments such as that, because the pain in that moment far outweighs the part of you that seeks to still believe there is still a lot in life to be content with and to be happy with and to still have hope and love within yourselves. And for some, what is birth is a very strong determination that you will not allow the destruction to be the legacy that is carried forward. Instead, what will you do instead to create a different journey than what was there before? And humans draw together. And besides the loss of life, humans, animals, plants, and such that exist because of that moment of destruction, determination that you will not allow it to be the legacy of you, your people, and your countries. And so, though it is born out of great despair, you cover yourself with a strength you did not know was there before. And you grieve what once was. And you begin to look at the possibilities of what you become from it. And you may choose to build anger and bitterness, resentment, hatred. Are you able to say, when is enough enough? Why can we not all create together and to build a world where we support one another, no matter the differences upon us and within us? You grieve what once was and no longer is. And you move forward, sometimes micro steps forward into the unknown. You know who you do not choose to be. You know what you do not choose to feel. And you do not yet fully know what is there besides that until you begin to experience it. And one of the most beneficial ways to know what is your next step when all you see around you is pain and destruction, the death of so many and so much. What and how do you ever experience something beyond that? Be silent. Keep your words quiet, unspoken, and allow yourself to be the observer, unattached, not participating in what every part of your human ego calls for: revenge, retaliations. And not only applying to moments of war, in that there are many ways humans get to that point. Is there another way? But even though you don't know what that looks like, how you can possibly get there from where you presently are. And so you allow yourself to be quiet. Go within. Connect with the song of your heart. Connect with the flow of the wind of your breath. Close your eyes if it helps. Bring your hands to your heart and listen to the song of your heart. Listen to the very gentle wind of your breath. Feel your entire body participate in the beat of your heart and the flow of your breath. And to speak out loud, I do not choose to create as it is presently seen in this moment. I choose to be open to learn. How do I create outside of this pain? I am open to remember who I am. And then be silent once again and allow your heart song and the flow of the wind of your breath to alter you enough for you to be open to receive the messages from absolute love of how do you create in a more honoring, loving, supportive way, in a way that assists and benefits humanity and yourself, to move away from creating through separation and judgment and fear, rejection and isolation, and allow for the knowledge you don't have a clue how to do it. And yet you are choosing to allow the knowledge and the remembrance to come to you through the knowledge of love. It is easy in the moments wherein grief is created and sorrows overwhelm you. It is easy as to human to enter into a state of hopelessness and despair. Be there as long as you choose to be there. And it is a choice, even when it feels like it isn't, that it is something inflicted upon you for reasons you don't understand. And know that there is more life for you to live because you are still here, even if it is against your will in the moment. And you wonder why you are here in this moment. You are here because you are an opportunity to say you are not here as a human family, to treat one another as you have been. You are here to unify and to come together and to experience support and love, and to see that as powerful and as perfectly you have created in the separations and forgetfulness. How great are you able to create when you look through the eyes of love upon your world and one another? Will it happen overnight? No. Will it happen in a generation? Some parts of it, yes. Other parts of it, no. You cannot be physical without being light and dark. To be able to experience in your existence in mass and matter. Know that when you feel grief, what you are feeling is the love within you that no longer has the person or the experience that you once gave that love to. The recipient of your love no longer is there. That love still exists within you. Send it to the human it once was given so freely to. Send it into your earth that is also affected by the choices of humanity right now. Send it into the universe. That love is still there. You are still able to choose where do you place it, and still choose to be one who feels love, one who chooses love. You don't forget what no longer is present with you, whether it is the death of a dream, your life and relationships did not unfold as you believed they were to do. You feel unloved, unseen, unheard, no matter how much you put yourself out in the presence of others. And life just appears to be there to exist to knock you down one moment after another. Perhaps one time when you were knocked down by life or others, what arises is a strength that was subdued, and you stand up and you say, no more. And you take the steps and actions to remove yourself from what knocked you down, whether it is a thought, a belief, another person, a world experience, a global experience. No matter what it is, you say no more, enough. And you remember what brought you to that point. The difference is you no longer give it the power to dictate who you are and what you choose to be. And as you choose, you begin to experience. Your path may look very different from another. So what? Their path is not one you choose. Your path is not what they have chosen to get them to the point of remembrance. Grieve, weep, mourn. And at the same time, remember you are alive. You are alive in the human world. And as long as you have breath, you have opportunity to remember and to create in such a way that when you return to the other side, you are able to answer honestly and truthfully. Were you loved? And did you love? And we do know, as the human, right now, you have many reasons in your world to be in sorrow, mourning, and grief. That is not all that is present. Seek, and you do indeed find. Love is eternal. Love is not changed by experiences. Conditional love is, unconditional love is not. You reap the wisdoms, the knowledge, the moments to remember. What do you absolutely love? Even human conditional love of life, your world. And for those that would say there is nothing, we would say, and there speaks your shadow to keep you from remembering. It might be a song, it might be a touch, it might be a scent, it might be a taste. It might be a moment that once brought you to your knees, releasing the greatest level of sorrow you have ever experienced. And even in that, love was with you. So we will bring this to the close for right now, and we will speak with you again. May you be blessed. May you remember. May you be open to receive all the love there is to receive. And may you remember that which is experienced through the mask of darkness, fear, separation, isolation, rejection, that too is temporary, and what is eternal and infinite in its reception is pure, absolute love. May you be willing to dare yourself to get to experience a moment when you are lifted beyond all fears and stories and remembrance of fears and negative experiences, that you were able to feel yourself fully embraced with absolute love. God's blessings be with you. And remember, we see you. You are seen. You matter. And the role you play has an important place also in the human journey right now. Who do you choose to be? And how do you choose to experience your life? God's blessings. listen. Even though it doesn't feel like it when we're in the midst of it, the painful moments do pass, and we get to choose how that occurs and when it occurs. Thank you for being here if you've made it to the end of this. And if you didn't make it to the end of this, I still say thank you for coming here at all. Till next time, bid you farewell.